Welcome, everybody, to the official Ride Out Podcast bracket review for the 2022 NCAA Wrestling Tournament. I'm really excited because personally, I'll be out there in Detroit, Michigan. I'll be with the Edinboro College Wrestling Group, or the Edinboro University Wrestling Group. I'm sorry about that. To any Edinboro fans out there watching this, should be a lot of great matches. I'm really excited to get into it. So why don't we just get into it? Starting things off at 125 pounds. Number 1 seeds Nick Sirianni out of Michigan. Number 2 seeds Vito Ruja out of Cornell. And then the number 3 seeds Patrick Glory. 4 seed Brandon Courtney, who's actually a finalist from last year. He wrestled Spencer Lee in the finals. Spencer Lee winning. We all know how that went. I was very disappointed when we were all disappointed when we heard the news that Spencer Lee would be out for the season. We all wonder what would happen if Spencer Lee would be in this Since he's not, I think Nick Sirianni is going to take this bracket. I think it's going to be Nick Sirianni and Vito Ruja in the finals. If he wasn't Nick, I would have Spencer Lee, but I got Nick Sirianni winning this bracket. All right, moving on to 133 pounds. Number 1 seed is Roman Bravo Young out of Pennsylvania State University, the returning national champion from last year. Number 2 seed Zane Fix out of Oklahoma State. He is the returning runner-up from last year, losing to Nick Sirianni in the finals. Number 3 seed is Michael McGree out of Arizona State. Number 4 seed Corbin Myers out of Virginia Tech. But number 5 seed is Austin DeSanto. Now, Austin DeSanto got a pretty low seed because of the losses to Dane Fix and Roman Bravo Young here. My prediction is that Austin DeSanto is gonna face Roman Bravo Young in the finals. Not in the finals, I mean the semifinals. Roman Bravo Young is gonna beat him. And I'm going to have Dane Fix coming out of the bottom half, beating McGee in the semifinals. But the person winning this bracket is going to be Roman Bravo Young, like he did last year. Moving on to 141 pounds. Number 1 seed is Nick Lee out of Penn State. Number 2 seed Dane Ironman out of Iowa. Number 3 seed Sebastian Rivera out of Rutgers. Number 4 seed Real Woods. Now, thing about this bracket is the top half is a lot easier than the bottom half, I'd say, because Jane Ironman doesn't really have a walk in the park with this bracket because Sebastian Rivera can give Jane Ironman problems, and I firmly believe that. And then Real Woods is going to face Nick Lee in the semifinals. That's not going to really be that much of a problem for Nick Lee. I'm not saying Real Woods isn't good. I think Real Woods is going to place third. If Jane Ironman loses, I don't think Jane Ironman is going to be in the right mindset going into that bottom bracket part. And I think he could end up placing 5th or 6th because that's how some of the Iowa wrestlers react after they lose, like Alex Marinelli. Alex Marinelli lost last year in the semifinals. He ended up taking 5th. So that could be a possible scenario here. But Sebastian Rivera could beat Jane Ironman. But if I had to pick one, I'd say Jane Ironman's going to win that match. It's going to be Nick Lee, Jane Ironman's in the finals, and I'm going to have to say Nick Lee's going to win that match. Because I just think that Nick Lee has Jane Ironman beat and has the style to beat him down. They wrestled last time in Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa, which Nick Lee won. It was a great match, but Nick Lee just had him beat mentally towards the end of the third period there and in overtime. So Nick Lee is winning 141. Moving on to 149 pounds. I mean, man, if you want to watch a weight class at the NCAAs this year, watch 149 pounds. This weight class or 133, because these are the 2 top weight classes for the tournament this year. Number 1 seeds Yanni Diakmahalis out of Cornell. Number 2 seeds Tyreek Wilson out of North Carolina State, undefeated record on the season so far. Then number 3 seeds Austin Gomez, who actually beat the number 4 seed Sammy Sasso at Ohio State at the Big Tens. So that could be really interesting. So this could be a really great matchup. A lot of great matchups coming up. Yanni Diakmahalis is going to make the semifinals. I think he's going to face Sammy Sasso. Now, these two wrestled earlier in the year at the Cliff King Invitational out in Las Vegas. Sammy didn't really win. Sammy kind of got his butt kicked in that one. But Yanni just kind of rode him on top. He had a very strong top game against him. But who knows? That could just be like the beginning of the season, how some people get. But I think Yanni's going to take that match. Then we got Tyreek Wilson out of North Carolina State, and then Austin Gomez out of Wisconsin. Austin Gomez is beating him. I think this because Austin has been wrestling really, really good the past few matches, beating Sasso and just looking really tough. So I think it's going to be Gomez and Diakmahalis, but I'm going to have to pick Diakmahalis winning this championship because this is going for his 3rd title. He's been in this spot before, and he just has enough funk and technique that these other wrestlers can't handle it. He is one of the best top games in the sport right now, and that is for freestyle too. He's also a very, very skilled freestyle wrestler as well. So, 149 pounds, Yanni Diakmahalis is winning it. Next up is 157 pounds. Number 1 seeds David Carr, who's a returning national champion at Iowa State University. His dad, one of the greatest wrestlers in U.S. history, one of the multi-time national champion, multi-time U.S. Open champion, one of the few men to beat Dave Schultz in a match, which is really crazy. Number 2 seeds Ryan Deacon out of Northwestern. Number 3 seeds Jacora Tremor out of Arizona State. The number 4 seeds Ed Scott. And the top half of the bracket, it's going to be Ed Scott, David Carr. But David Carr is going to win that match, put him into his 2nd final appearance. But the thing is, I think O'Connor is going to make the semifinals. But that being said, I don't think he's going to beat Ryan Deacon. So Ryan Deacon's going to come out of the bottom half, going into the finals. But I honestly got to pick David Carr. Been in this situation before. A really aggressive, fast-paced wrestler, really fun to watch. And he is going to be one of the best 157-pounders that's ever come out of the weight class. Like along the names of like Jason Nolf. He's going to be the best coming out that's in the recent years besides Jason Nolf. And I firmly believe that. So, 157 pounds, David Carr is going to be your champion. All right, moving on to 165 pounds. Now, this one, people might not like my opinion on this one. And I honestly don't care. Because I'm entitled to my opinion, and you're entitled to yours. Evan Wick is going to make it to the semifinals. Shane Griffith is going to make it to the semifinals. Evan Wick beats Shane Griffith. Then Evan Wick goes on into the finals. On the bottom half, now this is where people are going to start asking me, Ned, why do you think this? Why do you think this? We have Keegan O'Toole. Keegan O'Toole makes the semis. Alex Marinelli makes the semis. Alex Marinelli loses. Heck, I wouldn't even be surprised if Alex Marinelli loses in the quarterfinals because Alex Marinelli has never made the finals of the NCAAs. Alex Marinelli always loses and always folds in the NCAA tournament. So you'll never pick me. You'll never hear me pick Alex Marinelli to win a national title. The person who is winning a national title, though, is Evan Wick out of Cal Poly. Now, Evan Wick, he's performed very well in the freestyle section of wrestling and in the folk style section. I think he's going to claim a national title this year. So, your person, 165 pounds, is Evan Wick out of Cal Poly. Next bracket up is 174 pounds. Really good match. Really good bracket as well. I'd say this is the top 3 bracket this year, including 49 and 33, which I've mentioned earlier. Number 1 seeds returning national champion Carter Sirachi out of Pennsylvania State University. Number 2 is Micaiah Lewis out of Virginia Tech. Man, this one, I wish number 3 and number 4 were switched. Because that'd be really interesting to see how these two wrestled. Because Hayden Hidley beat Micaiah Lewis earlier this season, along with Sirachi beating Massa. But they were 2 good matches. But obviously that's not going to happen. Number three seeds Logan Massa out of Michigan. And number 4 seeds Hayden Hidley out of North Carolina State. Something cool about Hayden Hidley is his dad actually has the same job that my grandfather did when he worked. And they used to buy hoagies from the Lions Club of Burnham, because Burnham is outside of Lewistown. And both of those, my grandfather and the Hidley brothers grew up in Lewistown. They went to Mifflin County High School, which is a really nice high school. It's really big, AAA. It's a really nice high school. But I'm getting off track here. In the semifinals, in the top half, I have Carter Sirachi and Hayden Hidley. I'm going to have to pick Carter Sirachi for that one. This is going to be his second finals appearance. Bottom half, I'm going to have to do Micaiah Lewis and Logan Massa. I think Micaiah Lewis beats him, because Micaiah Lewis is a very, very aggressive wrestler. He's the one that put Joseph from Penn State in his hometown in a cradle in the NCAA finals in 2019 in Pittsburgh, which I was actually lucky enough to be present there, which was a really, really fun. I'm saying really a lot for some reason with this bracket, because I'm really excited to see how it unfolds. But I'm going to have to do Micaiah Lewis with this one. But for the finals, I'm going to have to go with Carter Sirachi. I'm going to have to go with Carter Sirachi out of Penn State. I'm going to say this because Carter Sirachi, very aggressive wrestler, returning from his national championship run last year, one of 4 national champions from Penn State. And he's been wrestling very well. Micaiah Lewis lost to Hayden Hidley earlier in the season, so it's really the semifinals of the top half who's going to win the tournament. But Carter Sirachi, I think, has more of an edge on Hidley than other opponents in that top half. So your man at 174 pounds is Carter Sirachi out of Penn State. On to 184 pounds. This one's going to be cool too, because this is going to be a rematch. I'm not even going to really. It's going to be Trent Hidley, Aaron Brooks, bottom half semifinals. That's going to be the second best match of this bracket. The best match that's going to happen in this bracket is going to be Aaron Brooks and Miles Amin. Now, Miles Amin beat Aaron Brooks in the Big Ten championships, but Miles Amin also lost to Aaron Brooks at the Michigan dual meet. So this match, they're 1-1 together this season, and the best way to break this tie between the two is in the national finals. Aaron Brooks, I think, is the second best pound-for-pound wrestler in the NCAAs. The best pound-for-pound wrestler being Gable Steveson. Gable Steveson tears those kids up like when when you're like chopping food, like you're chopping carrots. That's what he really does to his opponents. Miles Amin is a very, very tough competitor to Aaron Brooks. But I think that Aaron Brooks could get him. And I think this because I don't think Aaron Brooks was really in the right spot when he lost to Miles Amin. Miles Amin is a very tough competitor, don't get me wrong. But I think Aaron Brooks is just better. I think that was just a fluke match, really. I shouldn't say fluke. I think Miles Amin got it. But Aaron Brooks, returning national champion out of Penn State, one of the 4 that won it. I got Aaron Brooks. Your man at 184 pounds is Aaron Brooks. All right, we're on to the big boys now. Last bracket of the day. 285, heavyweight, the exciting big boys. Number 1 seeds Gable Steveson, returning national champion from last year. Also is a Olympic champion, as well, beating the Georgian with 0.9 seconds left on the clock. Number 2 seeds Colin Schultz out of Arizona State. Very impressive Greco-Roman resume. Won Greco-Roman Nationals a few times, winning it last year out in Iowa. Falling short of that Olympic team spot, but don't be surprised if he's on the team in the next few years. Number 3 seeds Tony Cassiope out of Iowa. Tony, very exciting to watch, very aggressive. Really the Iowa style for a heavyweight, as you could say. Number 4 seeds Greg Verkleek out of Pennsylvania State University. Greg taking 3rd at the Big Tens, beating Mason Paris from Michigan in the 3rd place match. So, hoping to see them wrestle again, but sadly they're on different sides of the bracket. On the top half, I have Gable Steveson and Verkleek making the semifinals. Then on the bottom half, I have Cassiope and Colin Schultz following along with him into the semis. In the top half, I have Gable Steveson winning that match against Verkleek, and I also have Cassiope winning that match against Colin Schultz. But the person I have winning this bracket completely is Gable Steveson. Gable Steveson, aggressive. Cannot stop scoring points. And this will be the second time that they've wrestled Cassiope. And the last time that Steveson wrestled him, he handled him pretty easily. But I think he's gonna make history, winning a second national championship. And after following that performance in Tokyo, anything's possible for him. Gable Steveson, if you were to keep wrestling freestyle, would be one of the best freestyle wrestlers to ever live in the heavyweight division. Going along the likes of Bruce Bumgarner, multi-time world champion. But he signed a deal with the WWE. And honestly, I think this is not the last we'll see of Gable Steveson. Especially how much he loves showmanship. I think he'll do fantastic in the WWE. All right. The person that's winning heavyweight for the NCAAs is Gable Steveson out of Minnesota. All right, that concludes our previews and thoughts of the NCAA tournament brackets. Now, I'm very fortunate to go out there this season, but if you aren't able to, I would recommend using ESPN, watching it, because they have all the previews of the match, and they also have a little thing where they have the best match possible up at the time given. But I've been Ned Kaufman, one of the hosts of the Right Out Podcast. Signing off, Ned Kaufman, Right Out Podcast.